It's Miss Garcia again. Hopefully by now you're getting used to my voice, and hopefully by the end of the year you will love it. If not, at least hopefully you're getting some good information out of me. Today you will be going under day 3 of the week of August 24th. You'll see some things that you have to do there, including a Nearpod. And I wanted to walk you through the Nearpod, even though you do need to join it. So you need to put your first and last name and then join it and go through it on your own. At the end, there's going to be a flip grid, and if you have any questions, just let me know. But I really want to make sure you have a good understanding of context clues, so I wanted to take some time and walk you through it. So first and foremost, I want you to think of context clues as creating aha moments while you're reading. But just so you know, we use context clues in everyday life, no matter what subject you're in, no matter what you're doing. So have you ever been talking to somebody and you kind of miss a word or you don't understand a word that they said, and so you start paying attention to everything else they're saying to figure it out? You're using context clues. Have you ever walked up on a situation where you're not sure what's happening, but you start listening to people, kind of paying attention to what's going on, and you figure it out? You've used context clues. So we use them all the time in all kinds of interactions, not just reading, and they're just very helpful. So on that note, why use context clues and roots? Okay, so there are effective ways to build your vocabulary. It assists you in helping you understand the meaning of a word or a sentence. So no more skipping over terms. Now when you don't know a word, I'm going to show you how to figure it out. And then therefore that strengthens reading comprehension. Because if you're skipping a whole bunch of words, then you're not going to get the best understanding of the text. But if you can take those words and figure them out, then you're going to understand. So that leads to strong reading skills, and therefore that leads to academic success, because when you have strong reading skills, it doesn't just help you in English. It helps you in all your subjects, because in some shape or form you will be doing reading, and you'll be using those context clues to help figure things out. Okay? So hopefully I'm not going too fast. Even if I am, you can always rewind this, re-listen, and then I'm going to have you practice at the end of this. So I've been talking up a big game about context clues, but you might be asking, what are they? So let's break it down. Context is a sentence or phrase in which a word is found. Clues is evidence or information used to detect or determine something, while therefore, context clues are evidence or information found within a sentence or phrase that helps you determine the meaning of a word. So in plain speak, clues that help you figure out new words. Okay, so if you don't know them, there's going to be clues in the sentences that will help you. Okay, so there are 5 types of context clues and then one tool that will help you. So the 5 types are definition, repetition, synonym, antonym, description, and then that extra tool is going to be root words, which we're going to get to in a little bit. So let's go over the context clues first. So definition context clues, it's basically what it sounds like. The definition appears alongside the word. So for example, the woman was distraught or extremely upset and worried when she could not find her little boy. So what does distraught mean? Well, we see this or right here, which is normally an indicator that they're going to say another way to say it or provide the definition. So we know that distraught therefore means to be extremely upset and worried. Let's look at another example. Christian felt empowered when he was left in charge and given full authority over his co-workers. So what does empowered mean? Well, the definition is provided. Being left in charge and given full authority. So to be in charge and to have authority. That's definition. So basically, the definition of the word is given within the sentence. So pay close attention to that. Now we have repetition of meaning context clue. So we've talked about repetition before. It is a literary device, repetition. And remember that means on repeat. So it's kind of saying something over and over again so that you really get the meaning of it. Well, here it is as a context clue. So that is a sentence, will contain the word and will be followed by another sentence saying the same thing in a similar way. So example, Joe was very studious. He spent a lot of time studying and reading. So what does studious mean? Spending a lot of time studying and reading. So see, They repeated it in a similar way. Let's take a look at another example. The old man only exacerbated the situation when he began to yell at the children. He only made it worse. So what does exacerbate mean? Well, if we're looking at repetition, we're going to look at this sentence. It's to make a situation worse. Okay? Moving on. Synonym context clues. And just a note, students, I tend to mispronounce this word often. I try very hard to pronounce it correctly, but sometimes it just does not come out. I am human, so bear with me. So a synonym, or word with the same meaning, is used to help the reader understand the meaning of a word. So the example, Maybelle was very eccentric. All you had to do was talk to her to realize how strange and odd she was. So what does eccentric mean? Strange and odd. These are synonyms. They mean the same thing. Okay? Next example. Tristan was often disgruntled. Every time he came to work, he was unhappy and aggravated. So what does disgruntled mean? Unhappy and aggravated. Pretty simple. Synonyms mean the same thing. We've learned them since we were in elementary, so this shouldn't be quite as hard. So that takes us to antonyms. And antonyms, we know, is a word with the opposite meaning. So Kirk was extremely industrious, while his brother was often lazy and unproductive. So what does industrious mean? Well, if we're using the antonym, or the opposite, we can tell that the opposite of that is lazy and unproductive. So then what does industrious mean? That must mean active and hardworking. So it'll be the opposite of the other terms in the sentence. Let's look at another one. The employees felt they needed to find a more efficient way to work since the current method wasted too much time, energy, and resources. So again, these are all antonyms, right? Wasted too much time, energy, and resources. Therefore, what does efficient means? Preventing wasting time, energy, and resources. Therefore, then we move on to description context clues. That's other phrases provide the meaning of the word. Okay, so this is a description. Description means to describe or to provide details. So Liam was a rambunctious child. His mother was exhausted and didn't know what to do. His uncontrollable energy and wild behavior were often overwhelming and made her want to cry. So they're describing the child who is rambunctious. So what could rambunctious mean? Well, if I'm using the details, I would say uncontrollable and wild. He has lots of energy and he's wild. Let's look at another one. Craig and Paige had a tumultuous relationship. They argued every day, and even if they were inside, their yelling could be heard down the street. Every day was a new form of chaos with them. Well, here's all our details. We know this is not a good relationship at all. So we definitely know it's not happy. And we know there's lots of yelling and chaos. So what could tumultuous mean? Explosive, loud, and chaotic, right? Loud because you could hear it down the street. Explosive, meaning there's always an outburst. These are going to be the most common ones you'll see, especially when you're reading longer texts, because it'll provide you details that will help you figure out a word. So now that we've gone over the 5 types of context clues, let's look at root words. And you might be asking, what are root words, Ms. Garcia? Sounds like just a word, but it's a little different. So root is the source or origin of something. Word is a single or one word used in speaking or writing. Therefore, root words are a single word that is the source or origin of another or other words. So a word other words grow from. I want you to think of root words as the beginning of everything. That it's everything stems from that one word. So you have that root word and it's taken root, and then other words grow from it. We create new words with new meanings, but they are always grounded by that one word. It's the beginning of everything. So root words. So let's take a look at some. These are some of the common ones, okay? And you've probably heard them. So here's a visual guide. So we have aqua, means water. Biblio means book. Chrono means time. Geo means earth. Photo means light. Audi means here. Circ means round. Jur means law. Manu means hand. Pac means peace. Doc means teach. And bio means life. So let's think about some of these. Aquamarine, right? That is a color of water. It's a bluish color, and we associate that with water. Biblio, okay? I'm a bibliophile. I love books. That's what bibliophile means. It means I love books. Hint, hint, you're probably going to see that later. Chrono means time. So when you put things in chronological order, you put them in order by date. So the very first date to the most recent date. Geo, many of you have taken geography, and that means the study of the world, right? Geology is the study of Earth itself. Photo, light. So photosynthesis, many of you took biology. Photosynthesis means, taking energy and taking light and converting it into energy. That's why it's called photosynthesis, because it means light. Okay. Audi. So whenever we do an audio file, that it means that we can listen to that file because we can hear it. Circ means round again. Can't really, circular definitely means round. Jur, so think of jury, right? Juries are part of the legal system. That's part of law. A manual normally gives you step-by-step instructions so you can do it by hand. Pac, of course, means peace. That one I don't really have a word off the top of my head. I cannot lie. I will come back to that one. But you can also think of pacifist. A pacifist is somebody that does not like violence. They are into peace. For doc, think of documentaries. They're movies that teach you things. Many of you probably do not like documentaries. I love them. Biology, again, many of you have taken biology, and that was a study of life. Here are some more root words. So homo means same and alike. So later we'll be learning some terms called homophones. And homo means same. Phone means to hear. So they sound alike. Junked is from or away. Dawn, to give. Rupt, to burst. Astro, star. Cred, believe. Mort, death. Dict, say. Duct, lead. Anthro, man. Dyna, power. Hydro, water. Fill, love. Sin, together with. So remember earlier I said I was a bibliophile? Well, that is a combination of biblio, book, and phile, which is love. I also have a minor in philosophy, and that is the love of knowledge. Okay. Astro, think of astronaut, they go to the stars. Cred, credibility, you got some street cred, you believe them. Mort, like mortality rate, that's the death rate. So dict, like in dictionary, is to say, like, how do you say those words? What do they mean? Anthro, like anthropology, is the study of man. When you think of dyna, think of dynamite. That's very powerful. It's an explosion. Hydro is water. Okay, so think of hydrogen, right? The water molecule. All right. So hopefully you'll get more used to these types of words. I'm really going to be asking you to identify some of these as we go on, but I don't expect you to know them all off the top of your head. I have also provided a reference guide for you of I think the 120 most commonly used ones. And then also there are some links attached to the bottom of your page for today that will take you to different websites that also provide some if you'd like to learn a little bit more. And as you can see, some of these pertain to other subjects, so it's kind of good to know them. So, roots, words that other words grow from. So, Buzz Aldrin was an American astronaut and worked for NASA. So, what does astronaut mean? We know that astro means star, so someone who went to space. He was up in the stars. Okay, here's another example. The students wish their teacher wasn't so monotoned. So what does monotone mean? Mono means one, having only one tone when speaking. And we all know those types of teachers. When I was in high school, I had a teacher named Miss O'Leary, and she talked like this all the time, even in the most interesting subject. So I would fall asleep in her class. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I hadn't because it was an amazing class, but her monotone did not do it for me. So that's what that means, having one tone. So just a quick recap. There are 5 kinds of context clues, and their definition, repetition, synonym, antonym, and description. And then we have an additional tool to help us with context clues, which is root words. And these are very important because they can lead us to aha moments. So again, guys, I know I went through that super fast, but we are going to be working with them throughout the year. We're going to be talking about them. I'll have you reference this a lot because before you come and ask me a question, I'll always ask you, did you use your context clues? Have you checked out your root words? What are some other ways you can find that out? Also become very accustomed to looking at a dictionary because I will tell you to look at a dictionary before I actually give you the answer. But if you have any questions, guys, you know the process. Contact me through email or remind Schoology within business hours, please.